Okay, my screen is visible now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I think few of the things we had already discussed. I'm just repeating because many were not there. I assumed that today most of you would be there. That is why I thought of repeating. But I don't know now. Even now the strength is less. Anyways, let us just go through it once again. So previous class we discussed about class imbalanced data set. Okay. So first of all, we need to identify whether like when we have a real data set and we start doing a project. So like say you're trying to build, I mean, a model which would predict say whether it belongs to a class 1, class 2, or say you have a particular disease or not, a fraudulent action, all those things. So when you have such a case, how do you identify whether there is a class imbalance problem? So it is always one class would have large number of instances with instances. So like we were discussing the other day, if it was say disease prediction, or say if it is like a model to predict the cancer. So of course, when we say if we take say 2000 patient details, we may have only hundreds of 100 patients who are positive for cancer. Others may not have cancer because it's not like a very like every patient would have. So it is rare positive. You need not consider about positive and negative concept. But of course, one class would have large number of samples. So when in this case, if you consider the patients with cancer, we have only say 100 samples, but then we have like remaining all 1900 samples where the patient does not have cancer. So our class is having cancer and not having cancer, then of course we have large number of samples in one class, whereas the other class does not. So this we are talking about binary classification or two-class classification problem. Whereas if we even if we have multi-class classification where we have multiple classes, even then we may have the same issue, like one of the classes have less number of samples. So that is when we have imbalanced data set, we say. Okay. So now what are the approaches what we go for? So before that, we are just repeating. So where we have large number of one class and the other class number of samples are less. So this is actually where you can see like say fraud detection, medical diagnosis, facial recognition, etc. So or some anomaly detection, etc. So why is it a problem? I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I have a power issue here. So I just want to make sure I'm audible. So why is it a problem? We even discussed this. So the machine learning algorithms work best when we have almost equal number of samples. Doesn't mean that we have to like say have exact 50-50%, but at least somewhat same number of instances should be there in all the classes. Otherwise, there is an imbalance and then our issues would turn up. Like say, for example, we were talking about accuracy measure in the previous, like earlier when we talked about model evaluation, we discussed about accuracy. And there we have mentioned about why accuracy is not a measure, appropriate or measure always. Why? Specifically, when you have an imbalance in the data set, what happens is, say, for example, like the previous example, what we talked. So we have, say, 1000 samples of patient details in which only 100 samples are having cancer equal to yes. So they belong to yes class, I mean, the class with cancer. And the remaining is without cancer. Now, if you say the model, say, since we have large number of samples with cancer not present, there is a high chance that the model might predict the others also into the same class. So even the class with less number of samples, that is patient having cancer, those instances also might get predicted as no cancer. So actually in this case, it is very critical because we are actually misleading by telling that the patient actually has a cancer and we predict as no cancer. But still our accuracy measure, if you take, would be still a good value because we have large number of samples in the other class. So that way, if you see, your model tries to predict everything as no cancer, because that is, we have more information with no cancer, and that is like say 1900, and we have only very less number of samples for the other class. So everything gets predicted as one class, and then there is a misclassification, and actually it is like one class is not even predicted. So this kind of issues might turn up when we have imbalance in our data set. So now the basic approach, what is tried usually is sampling methods. So where we have oversampling and undersampling. So oversampling, from the terminology, it is more clear that we are adding. So what is this minority and majority class? So the class with more number of samples is called my majority class, and minority is the class with less number of samples. So in our case, we told 1900 samples are there in the patient cancer, no cancer equal to no class. So that class is having, that is our majority class, whereas 100 samples in our positive class, or the cancer is equal to yes class. So that is our minority class. So what is oversampling? We know that we have only a less number of samples in minority class, and we try to add more. Okay, so that we don't have a bias, like in the sense we don't have one class being very less. So we try to add more number of samples. Now, how is that possible? We'll discuss it later. Now, undersampling is by removing some of the majority classes. So that is, some instances are removed and we try to balance it. So the main difficulty is when you have less number of samples, like say, for example, I have only 1000 samples. Now in that, if I remove again few more samples, it may not make sense. So the model also should have enough data to learn. So if you have less number of samples, of course, undersampling is not an approach. This can be possible only if you have large, good enough samples. And also when you remove some samples, maybe we are losing some good amount of information. So all that is there. Now, oversampling, we are talking about resampling of data from the positive class. Undersampling is eliminating from the negative. Positive is your minority majority class. So, so when you eliminate tuples from the negative class, which is your majority class. So, this is that what we were talking about. So when we have, say, the first figure, so which is this. So where it is, if you see, the majority class is blue and the minority class is red, marked as red. So there is an imbalance in the data. You can see a lot of blue points, but then you will see very less red points. Okay, so there is an imbalance in the data. So what is done? Either undersampling or oversampling. So what is undersampling? See, after undersampling, you can see that very less number of blue points also is there. So like we have removed some samples from the blue, which is the majority class. Whereas oversampling is the minority class, which was our red, now is increased. So now we almost see similar number of samples in both the classes. Is it clear? You want me to repeat something? Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. So in this oversampling, as such, there is some algorithm called SMOTE. So what it does is, so instead of, when we say oversampling, we are actually increasing the number of samples in the minority class. So it is not like duplication of certain samples, not like that. What SMOTE does is, say if you can see the left side figure, you can see that there are majority class samples which are marked as squares, and then the black circles or black dots are the minority class samples. And what is the red dot? That is the newly created or synthesized samples by this algorithm. So actually based on some nearest neighbor algorithms, etc., it tries to generate some new samples which are very close to the other samples in the minority class. So if you see two blacks are there, say if this case, if you can take, we have already X1 and X2, X3, which are our minority class samples, and we generate, the algorithm generates a new sample called A, okay, which is very close to X1 and X3. Now this is in 2 dimension, but let it be in any dimension. That way it tries to generate some samples which are very close to the existing points in our minority class. So of course you might have doubts like whether we can synthesize like that, but that is the only approach when you don't have an option to remove the samples. So of course you need to generate new samples. So that is this is one approach or mode. You will even see if you can if you refer multiple books or papers, etc. You will see more different kinds of algorithms which are variation of all this. But this is like one basic approach over sampling that is moot. Okay, so then let us move on. So we just talked about imbalance, data imbalance handling. Now let us just talk about ensemble methods. Okay, this is not anything related to our imbalanced data set. Imbalanced, why I brought in suddenly was because there were people having imbalance in the data set. So like you should be aware of what it is. So we just discussed. Now next is actually ensemble methods. So what is that? It is basically for improving your performance or something like that. So ensemble means we are combining different models. So what happens here? We are combining a series of models and then we try to make a prediction. So a group of models together make a kind of prediction. So there is bagging, boosting and ensemble techniques. So now in bagging, the analogy we discussed in the last class also, analogy is say for example we have an issue, a health issue, and then we take a doctor's option. So like say for example we went to a doctor and then he suggested something like say for example to undergo a surgery. Now of course we go and check or recheck with confirm with multiple doctors, a second opinion, etc. So we would ask multiple doctors for the opinion and then only we'll take a final decision. So what we would do, majority of the doctors said us not to go for a surgery, then we might say that I'm not going for a surgery. So that is the analogy what we have for bagging. That is, we have certain training triples, we generate different models and then based on the voting. So majority of the models have predicted is it yes, yes. Then we say the class is yes. So let us see how it is. So training, what it does is given a set of D tuples. Each iteration, what happens is here it is sampled with replacement. So I think we discussed about replacement. So that is when you have of course, when you take a sample, I mean a data set, and when you take say 10 samples, then again you replace it back and then again take 10 samples. Of course, which you have taken previously might get selected again. So that possibility is there when we talk about sampling with replacement. So D tuples is sampled with replacement. Then what happens is a model MI. So at an iteration I, model MI. So first iteration M1 is learned, second iteration M2 is learned and so on. It usually would be the same classifier, like say for example, if it is a if our algorithm what we chosen was say decision tree, which we'll learn later. So it would be decision tree itself in all these. Don't think that we'll have like lots of that is actually heterogeneous classifiers, which is actually mentioned as ensemble techniques later on. But bagging is usually the same kind of classifier, but for different data set. That is different. Like say when I say iteration I am taking that many samples in that full data set. So a training set DI is taken and from that a model is learned. So that is MI. Now when I again go back to the data set and again sample a few sample certain elements and then again predict. So it happens like say I can tell 10 iterations. So there are 10 different models from these. Now what happens when you get a new sample, unknown sample, each classifier would return its prediction and then the voting is done, like in the sense the each classifier's prediction is taken and whichever is the maximum prediction is that is the class which our X would get. So that is our classification. Then so of course if it is a prediction, it would be average of each prediction by the models. So here it is majority voting, but if it is prediction, if it is prediction, you will take the average. Okay. So of course, if you're taking one single model and taking multiple models and then taking an average or a majority, of course it would be better in the prediction. So that is our bagging. And now what is boosting? Here also it is the similar concept. So we are asking different doctors for the opinion, but here there is a weightage. Say, assume you give more weightage for a specialist in a particular hospital. When he says something, you make a more, like he give more, you give more weightage for his opinion. So that way. So there is some kind of weighted opinion or weighted suggestion. So what happens here? Similarly, in our classifier also, same way we have each tuple will have a weight. Also, there are K classifiers like the previous algorithm. We learned K classifiers are learned, and then what happens is when one model or the first classifier is learning the making a learning, it for the next classifier when it starts, there are some weight updation happening. So initially there are some initial weights assigned for each training tuple. After one model is learned, when you start with the next model, there is weightage given, the weight is changed. Okay, so how is that? So the training tuples which are misclassified are given more weightage. Okay, so there is a weight increase for the tuples classified which are misclassified by that particular model. Now, like this, it will happen for K iterations or whatever, like say K. So K iterations it happens. So each iteration there is a weight update for the training tuple. Okay. Now, finally, again, there is a combining of vote, plus there is a weight for each classifier also based on accuracy. Okay. So depending on how less, if the classifier is giving less number of errors, it will have more weightage on the prediction. So there is a classifier also is given weightage, plus the instances are also, or the training instances are also given some weight. So that is how our boosting work. Okay. So, of course, it performs better than bagging, but since we are like more into like say for example we are giving more attention to the training tuples, means always when a sample is misclassified we give more weight. So it is like we are trying to overfit the model to that misclassified data. So that kind of a risk might be there, but boosting performs better than bagging. So there is an algorithm called AdaBoost. I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So we have an algorithm called AdaBoost, which is actually adaptive boosting. Okay. So what we have to do is again, we have say D number of instances. Initially, all the weights of all the instances are 1 by D. Okay. Equal weightage for all instances because we don't know which is misclassified, etc. So now initially everything has equal weightage. Now what happens? Tuples are sampled to form a training set DI of the same size. Now we take at a particular round, say ith round or ith iteration, we try to generate, we take some samples to form the training set. Now what happens? So of course here also sampling with replacement is used. So of course in multiple times the same tuple might be used in each iteration. It can be possible. Now what happens after, so initially every sample's weight is same, but each sample when you actually select is actually based on the weight. Like the more the weight, the more chance for the tuple being selected. So initially every sample is getting equal weightage. Now we'll see how it is updated. Now, so once the first iteration, what happens? The samples are there. Now we predict, since all the instances are having equal weightage. Now we take the samples and then we generate a model called M1. And then what happens? Its error rate is calculated. Okay. And any tuple is misclassified, its weight is increased. So how is that error rate calculated? So when we say error of xj, okay, so that is the misclassification error of that particular instance. Okay. So if a classifier is misclassified, so that would get a weight, in the sense that would get more weightage, so that it is selected again. Why are we doing this? Because if it is misclassified, that means you need to give more attention towards it. That means the next models will concentrate on trying to correct it that way. That is why we are giving that kind of a weightage. Okay, so what is that misclassification error of tuple xj? When I say if the tuple is misclassified, error of xj would be 1. If it is not misclassified, that is if it is correctly classified, error of xj would be 0. Okay. Now, what is error of the model? So error of xj is if it is misclassified, if it is then it is 1, otherwise it becomes 0. Now, what is mi? I mean error of mi, that is sum of the weights. Okay, and so that is sigma wj into. So w is initially equal weight, so 1 by d, that was the weight what we gave, into now there is a what is that? There is a multiplication factor which is our error. So whenever, so this will happen for all the samples. Just a second. So if there is, so initially all the samples are having same weightage. So, but once we do one iteration, what happens? So when we calculate the error of xj, that is our 1. If it is misclassified, we'll have a we'll have it 1. Others would be 0. So of course our error calculation would be that way. Okay, so this is our error calculation for a particular model. So mi, so k m's would be there. So that is how we will calculate our error. And now this is our error of mi. Now what about our weight of the classifier vote? So we told that each classifier would be given different weight. So so how is that? So that is again based on the error. So less the error, it will have more weightage. So log of 1 minus error of mi by error of mi would be our the weight of classifier's vote. Okay, so this way what happens is each time a model, so each time an instance is misclassified, we give more weightage in the next iteration. And same way, if there is a how the total classifiers, how it will the vote, how we will get weight is based on the error it makes. So if it is more accurate, it will get more weightage kind of thing. So basically what we are doing is we are trying to find out the samples of which are misclassified and then try to give more weightage so that in the next iteration it is solved. So that way. Okay. So there are like more variation of all this and then like more specifications, etc. But just basic understanding of this would be sufficient. So and how like this is just the basic AdaBoost algorithm. So there are like mild variations also. Okay. So this is one boosting algorithm, and also random forest is also an ensemble technique where we have not learned decision tree classifier, but assume that we know it. Okay, that is kind of a classifier which will build a decision tree, which will tell us when given an instance, we'll be able to predict which class it belongs to. Okay, so that way understand that the algorithm also builds a tree. Okay, where we'll when we give a new sample, we'll be able to predict what is our class. So now based on this, when we have random forest, it is actually like we have decision tree classifiers as an ensemble. So different decision trees are generated, and then based on the voting, it is which most popular class would be written. We'll understand that again when we see what is decision tree classifier, etc. But understand that this is also one kind of boosting algorithm which is there. So these two are our algorithms. So these are all under our ensemble techniques where we have bagging and boosting. Then I think initially when we talked, there was something called ensemble. Like say if you want to combine multiple classifiers also, that is possible. Now when we talked, it is same classification algorithm but on different sets of data of the data. I mean our data set. But when you say ensemble, that algorithm itself would have like multiple classification. That is also possible. Like it can have one naive Bayes, one. That is why it is mentioned heterogeneous classifier. So that is also possible. But bagging and boosting, typically our AdaBoost algorithm is more used. Okay. So I think that's all for our this topic. And Wednesday afternoon, hope you all are aware, Wednesday afternoon, 1:45, we'll have the quiz one. Okay. Do you have any placements during that time? Is it free for all of you? All of you are aware, no, that it is at Wednesday afternoon.
Ma'am, at Wednesday afternoon we have lab, ma'am.
Oh. Then why he
Project
didn't tell?
selective lab we have, ma'am.
Which elective lab?
Project-based selective lab.
Okay. Actually, Vikas told me. Vikas is here? No. No. Okay. I think someone. Just a second. It was discussed. I think today you had 2 quiz, right? Or today we had placements. Why did we postpone? I don't remember the reason actually. I think it was there were 2 quizzes, or maybe because there is placements, 2 companies going on. One of these reasons, actually it got postponed. And then when I asked Wednesday, I think. I remember, yeah, I think somebody told me that there are 3 quizzes, including machine learning. So, requested it for Wednesday. So, but Wednesday afternoon, you're not free. That's what you're telling.
Yes, ma'am, we have lab, but ma'am usually takes only for 1 hour, but we don't know what is the status
Okay.
this.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll discuss with anyway. Wednesday you have your quiz. Maybe either at your regular hour or maybe at afternoon slot. I'll check and tell you. But it is there because again we can't postpone. This week we have to have it. Better to have it earlier because you will have a rough idea of, or you will revise also once. So we'll have it on Wednesday. Mostly, I will check. I'll check with Beena ma'am. Actually, she is taking the class. So she was telling that second hour she is not free. Wednesday we have second hour, no, usually. Or it is third hour. I don't remember. Yeah, anyway, let us see. That I'll inform through the class representatives. But Wednesday you have the quiz. Okay. Okay then. Okay then, everyone. Thank you. Anything else you want to discuss?
Ma'am, excuse me,
Yeah.
do we have KNN and naive-Bayes regression?
Sorry?
Do we have KNN and regression naive-Bayes?
No. I had mentioned, no, the topic specifically is introduction. Then you have, where did I leave the topic? Okay, what was the topic? What I mentioned? I think it is.
You just mentioned
Introduction, model evaluation, and data pre-processing, isn't it? Yeah. It's just 10 mark quiz, no? That's enough.
Yeah.
Okay then. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.